Hi, I'm Annie Grace Mante. I am a Humanities and Social Sciences student. This video is a requirement for our subject. I will be talking about a very sensitive topic. So if you think it might trigger you, I encourage you to proceed to the next video. This video in particular is about depression, its type, definition, symptoms, warning signs, coping mechanism, and how it varies from gender to age. According to psychiatry.org, depression or major depressive disorder is a serious mental illness that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. Depression is different from just feeling depressed. Feeling depressed means the sadness and loneliness that we feel from time to time, like failing the exam, having bad grades, losing someone, or losing a job, or even just having an argument with someone important. While on the other hand, depression is a mental disorder that interferes your work and your ability to live. According to helpguide.com, depression comes in many shapes and forms. Knowing what type of depression you have can help you manage your symptoms and get in most effective treatment. The first type of depression is the major depression. Major depression is much less common than mild or moderate depression and is characterized by severe, relentless symptoms. Left untreated, major depression typically lasts for about 6 months. Some people experience just a single depressive episode in their lifetime, but major depression can be a recurring disorder. Second is atypical depression. Atypical depression is a common subtype of major depression with a specific symptoms pattern. It responds better to some therapies and medication than others, so identifying it may be helpful. People with atypical depression experience a temporary mood lift in response to positive events, such as after receiving good news or while out with friends. Other symptoms of atypical depression include weight gain, increased appetite, sleeping excessively, a heavy feeling in the arms and legs, and sensitivity to rejection. Next is dysthymia, or recurrent mild depression. Dysthymia is a type of chronic low-grade depression. More days than that, you feel mildly or moderately depressed, although you have a brief periods of normal mood. The symptoms of dysthymia are not as strong as symptoms of major depression, but they last for a long time. Some people also experience major depressive episode on top of dysthymia, a condition known as double depression. Last is seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. For some people, the reduced daylight hours of winter lead to a form of depression known as seasonal affective disorder. SAD affects about 1% to 2% of the population, particularly women and young people. SAD can make you feel like a completely different person to who you are in summer, hopeless, sad, tense, or stressed with no interest in friends or activities you normally love. SAD usually begins in fall or winter when the days become shorter and remains until the brighter days of spring. According to helpguide.org, there are symptoms for depression. It includes feeling of helplessness and hopelessness. It is a thinking that you will never get better and there's nothing you can do to improve your situation. Second is loss of interest in daily activities. You don't care anymore about former hobbies, pastimes, social activities, or sex. You've lost your ability to feel joy and pleasure. Next is appetite or weight changes. Significant weight loss or weight gain, a change of more than 5% of body weight in a month. Sleep changes, either insomnia, especially waking in the early hours of the morning, or oversleeping. Fifth is
anger or irritability, feeling agitated, restless, or even violent. Your tolerance level is low and your temper is short and everything and everyone gets on your nerves. Sixth is loss of energy, feeling fatigued, sluggish, and physically drained. Your whole body may feel heavy, and even the small tasks are exhausting or take longer to complete. Seven is self-loathing, strong feelings of worthlessness or guilt. You harshly criticize yourself for perceived faults and mistakes. Eight is reckless behavior. You engage in escapist behaviors such as substance abuse, compulsive gambling, reckless driving, or dangerous sports. Ninth is concentration problem. Trouble focusing, making decisions, or remembering things. Last is unexplained aches and pains. An increase in physical complaints such as headaches, back pain, aching muscles, and stomach pain. Depression is a major risk factor for suicide. The deep despair and hopelessness that goes along with depression can make suicide feel like the only way to escape the pain. If you have a loved one with depression, take any suicidal talk or behavior seriously and watch for the warning signs. The first warning signs is talking about killing or harming oneself. Second is expressing strong feelings of hopelessness or being trapped. Third is the unusual preoccupation with death or dying. Fourth is acting recklessly as if they have a death wish. Fifth is calling or visiting people to say goodbye. Sixth is getting affairs in order. Seventh is saying things like everyone would be better off without me, or I want out. Last is a sudden switch from being extremely depressed to acting calm and happy. So how will you know if you have a depression? There isn't a depression test a doctor can use to see if you have it, so figuring that out often starts with a thorough history and physical exam. Your doctor will want to know when your symptoms started, how long they've lasted, how severe they are, if depression or other mental illnesses run in your family, or if you have a history of drug or alcohol abuse. You'll also be asked if you had similar symptoms of depression before, and if so, how it was treated. How to cope with depression. First is to reach out to other people. Isolation fuels depression, so reach out to friends and loved ones, even if you feel like being alone or don't want to be a burden to others. The simple act of talking to someone face to face about how you feel can be an enormous help. The person you talk to doesn't have to fix you. He or she just needs to be a good listener, someone who will listen attentively without being distracted or judging you. Second is get moving. Get moving. When you're depressed, just getting out of bed can seem daunting, let alone exercising. But regular exercise can be as effective as antidepressant medication in countering the symptoms of depression. Take a short walk or put some music on and dance around. Start with small activities and build up from there. Third is eat mood-boosting diet. Reduce your intake of foods that can adversely affect your mood, such as caffeine, alcohol, trans fat, sugar, and refined carbs. And increase mood-enhancing nutrients such as omega-3 fatty acid. Last is find ways to engage again with the world. Spend some time in nature, care for pets, volunteer, pick up a hobby you used to enjoy, or to take up a new one. You won't feel like it at first, but as you participate in the world again, you will start to feel better.
All I can say is it is important to differentiate the clinical depression from the mood depression because I myself have mistaken it. I thought that I had depression when I was in high school for not passing the test or having an argument with my best friend. What I am pointing out here is that don't make difficult situation more difficult. Let me clear this out to you. I am talking about those that just feeling depressed and not those with that actual depression. It is okay to feel sad, it is okay to feel down. After a bad day, life continues to go on, and so as you. You should continue to live your life because sadness, failure, downfall, it is normal and inevitable. Go out and bond with your friends or do something that you enjoy. I can say that I have successfully run from my sadness because of the help of my family who become a good listener and a shoulder to cry on. Now that you know depression, it is time for you to make your action. This is the end of the video. I hope it helped you get things together. Thank you and ciao.